Good afternoon. We are team 1039 with Broadcast News, and today we're using our TriCaster suite and our soundboard here, and just our whole setup ready to go for this afternoon. And now we're going to go into the studio and show you our setup.
Right.
And of course, we're using a 3-camera setup, and we are abiding by the COVID regulations by having, during the edit session, everyone's going to be wearing their masks, staying apart as they need to be. And then when the actual news broadcast happens, the 2 anchors will have their mask off, and I, the technical director, and Logan, the floor director, will have our mask on.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because then we'll leave it off with something impactful, and then we'll go into the next story, which is about the new COVID guidelines. Because then you're leaving off with, oh no, people are dying by this, and then you're going into, oh whoa, there's ways to stay safe.
So it's kind of like it flows better, you know,
Yeah.
the stories are actually connected.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, and then we talk about the mask mandate, and then for the new guidelines, we talk about the mask mandate near the end, and then continue it on about it in the next part, which will be about how the businesses are closing down, or not closing down, but talking about how they're keeping the mask mandate pretty strict on their employees at the very least.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I believe our order should be, at least for the beginning 3 stories.
And where are we going to put the weather?
And the weather, I believe after these 3 stories or 4 stories, we should put the weather there and then put like 3 more stories in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
It needs to be kind
Yeah,
of
we'll
in the
have like
middle.
a weather, then a sports, and or not sports, and then like state news to get everyone refreshed with what's going on around the state, and then we'll go into our kicker for a while. So that's 4 stories,
Yeah.
basically. If we're counting weather. No, not if we're counting weather. If we're counting weather, that's 4 more stories. So we'll have 7 total.
7? Do you
Yep.
think that's going to give us enough time?
I believe so. I believe that'll give us about 5 minutes.
Okay. If need be, we can like stretch out some other stories.
Yeah.
Or like decrease.
And at the beginning, when we were talking about CDC, we put the Centers for Disease Control, not the CDC,
Yeah.
because we're first
But
talking
if you-
about them.
yeah, if
And then
you say
afterwards,
again-
yeah,
So it's like, okay, that makes sense to me.
yeah.
Do we know what we're going to end off on the first story with?
Yeah, I'm writing it right now.
Okay. I'm just going to read over all the stories that we have, just to be safe.
Yeah.
See if there's anything that we're missing.
I mean, I'm still writing the first one right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's any others that we need to throw in or throw in.
Oh, you're talking about the actual stories, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the stories I've written so far. I was like, oh, I don't have that much written right now.
Yeah, no, you're good, man.
Hold on, I'm just gonna try to find that email now. I'm thinking about it so I can look over on as well. Because I believe we have a good lineup going on right now.
Yeah.
There's coronavirus stories for like half of our segment because that's what's important right now.
Yeah, that's like the biggest
That's
stuff.
the biggest
That's
news,
what
and,
everybody's worried about.
and it flows really well into it because then we talk about the
We want
guidelines.
everything to connect together.
Yeah, and then we talk about the businesses and mask mandate, which
The
I
weather
believe-
would give
yeah.
everyone kind of a break. So
Yeah.
we go through all of the coronavirus stuff, weather, then we go
sports,
on,
Because
sports.
it's important, but you don't want to hear it too much before you get bored of it.
and then we go into the state, which would just kind of like wrap us up pretty well, and then boom,
We'll go.
bigger, and then
Boom.
So like say our final goodbye, the
Yeah.
anchor.
Yeah.
okay.
Hello, could you make one of our writing into double space right now?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna look over the weather right quick.
Yeah, I got you. We're doing the Jonesboro area, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
For our state. And then for the kicker, we're doing the kidney.
500,000. It was 500,000, wasn't it? A little over 500,000.
On what story?
The first story where they talk about like a little over 500,000 could die by like what was it, the 27th?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, yes, just over.
Yeah, it's 540,000 to 564.
Yeah, so I was just say a little over 500,000.
Yeah. Or around 500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it has like.
I think around 500,000 is kind of like too out there when you could just say a little over 500,000, which sounds more precise.
Fair.
Yeah, because around could be like below as well.
Well, it does go into below. See, prevention reports that 540,000 and
Two.
564. So that would be around. That would give us a good estimate of like it's actually not specific. It's around.
Yeah.
So around would be the better word to use for that.
And Logan, did you have titles real quick?
Yeah.
I think the first one's talking about how, well, I know that it's talking about test rate dip and then that experts are concerned. So something in the lines of that.
All right.
So transition, we want stuff like meanwhile and such like that. Because I think that would be a good transition because first one talks about the how the coronavirus and how people are dying, then we go meanwhile new guidelines or something of that sort.
Something that
Yeah.
like move us along pretty smoothly.
Yeah. And then for this story, we'll also have to say Centers for Disease Control and then go into CDC.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Give the full title and then go on with the
Yeah. Making sure, because we did just talk about them in the next one, like previously.
Yeah. Still want to make it known.
Yeah.
And we are doing the mask mandate one that's been lifting in some states.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Could you read over the first one I did real quick, Alexis? That is your story.
Just talking to the team.
Yeah, continue reading.
Okay. Continue or start over?
Start over real quick
Okay.
so we can get the full.
With world and national news, test rates have dipped by a quarter since mid-January, and health officials are beginning to be concerned about the decline in testing. Even though the vaccinations are still underway, the Center for Disease Control says the tests are a critical piece in controlling the pandemic. The agency points out case numbers are constant and coronavirus are spreading at a rapid rate. The CDC reports a little over 500,000 could die from the virus by March 27th.
I don't see many mistakes in that one. I think I wrote it pretty well, but
the only thing I wanted to change is instead of saying those, say the.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we
My
changed
thing
that.
is, like, in the story it does mention that the variants are a rapid rate, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay,
variants are
good.
like running.
I was
rapid.
just making sure that wasn't like an opinionated thing we were putting in.
Yeah.
No, I believe that's what the story says, doesn't it? Like, they,
I feel like you're correct, I just didn't want to.
That's hey, Logan, can you make sure?
Make sure, yeah.
Yeah, about the variants of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start on the mask mandate.
Okay. I think that one's going to be kind of difficult because it's all important.
Yeah.
So
Where's
maybe
the,
just like
text there from the,
little
what
words
the email they sent us.
that we can
The
replace
text,
with
like,
maybe a
exactly.
comma
Look
or
up
something.
variants or something of that sort. Because I believe it said something about the variants are spreading.
All right.
It says rapidly, and that's what we're kind of worried about.
Yeah, I did put rapidly in there.
That's
that might
what I
be,
was,
Yeah.
because we can say are still spreading
All right.
or are still
We don't want to
current,
create
but
fear.
yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're talking
rapid
about.
is like a really dramatic word.
Yeah, the
It's
story
not
doesn't say
necessary.
rapid. It just says that
Okay.
they're spreading.
Okay.
So
Like-
just say are still
Are
spreading.
continuing to spread
Yes, that sounds good.
around the world or?
It is world and national, so maybe it's just a given that it's around the world.
So
Well-
it might not be the best to say.
Yeah,
Oh, I could just take it out. Continuing
Yeah.
to spread and just be
Yeah.
generalized about it.
Yeah.
Vague.
Because it is like a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a worldwide thing, but I don't know if it's spread worldwide yet. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, the variants are like give and take when it comes to them, so we just got to be careful how we word them.
Yeah, I'll just be vague, a little vague about it, and be like, they're spreading.
Good idea.
Unless the story says different.
Yeah, I don't think the story says anything about where it's spreading. They're just kind of there.
Or if it's rapid or not.
Yeah.
It just mentions that it's still
Yeah.
spreading.
So we'll take out rapid, and then we'll continue.
Good.
And you're doing about the mask mandate, aren't you?
Yeah.
I can start on the weather.
Yeah, do the weather, because, yeah, that would be a good idea. And
Is the
Logan,
mask
you
mandate our
can do
second
the,
story? No, okay, it's our third.
Wait, who's doing the coronavirus relief bill?
Nobody has done that yet.
You can do the
So,
coronavirus relief bill, because I'm
yeah,
doing the,
That'd be the 4 stories before the weather.
yeah, so I'm doing the second story, so you can do the third story.
And let's try to make it where it's
Okay.
like, maybe not the first story, but it's like 2 stories a page.
Yeah,
That way it's just easier.
Yeah, it's easier to know where everything is.
Make sure we get 2 copies of everything.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna go ahead and skip down to like the 3rd page.
we're starting off with Alexis, Stevie, Alexis.
yeah, on and off, on and off.
Yes.
Okay.
It has small at-home gatherings, right? Like about the story about the new
Yeah.
headline. It's a
Yeah.
small at-home gatherings, and then it talks about, I'll say something like, and on top of this,
For the weather, they gave us like 10 days. So I think we can summarize that up into like a 7-day forecast.
yeah,
But,
just for a week.
Because after a while it gets a little
Yeah.
bit unpredictable anyway.
and yeah, after like the 5th day, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So I think a 7-day, but I'm gonna group the days together.
So it's
Yeah.
just easier.
So
to
it's
listen to.
easier to flow and people understand that that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Don't assume that they understand, but
Yeah.
like make sure that it does make sense. You know what I'm saying?
It's understandable.
Yeah, understandable.
And I believe I finished the one about the mask mandate.
Uh-huh.
And then you were doing the one where it's talking about the mask mandate in businesses, right?
Right.
Come on, you forgot to capitalize Texas.
Oh yeah. Still reading over it.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what I can cut out so it still makes sense. But,
Yeah. That gives us a lot of information, that's for sure.
Yeah, and all of it seems important, but
Yeah, it is kind of notes, like, yeah, it looks like reporting notes, so. And you're doing the weather. Oh, you're doing the weather super far down here.
I put it on the 3rd page.
Yeah, it's like, it's on the bottom of the 3rd page, that's what it is.
Oh, I didn't mean to do
Oh,
that.
no, it's fine, I'll move you up. I was very confused what was happening, because I scrolled down looking for the weather, I was like, oh my gosh. There it is.
I need my title.
And after weather, we're doing sports, right?
Yes.
Alright, I'll do the sports.
It's like a entertainment.
Yeah, it sounds
after the
like just
weather.
like weather to give you a short break from all this bad news.
So I wrote the stores that will pertain to the mask mandate include. That just sounds a little weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what I can change. Stores that will pertain to the mask mandate include Target, Kroger, Walgreens, CVS.
Because it talks about
Does it mention anything about the stores before the sentence? Like,
I mean, yes.
what is the sentence before it?
Despite the mask mandate being lifted in many states, many retailers and pharmacies will continue to require masks for both customers and employees. The stores that will pertain to the mask mandate include Target.
What if you say this stores included? Because you already mentioned that there's stores that are going to be following this.
Alright, now we'll tell them look at camera 3. Alright. 15 seconds there, stand by, get in positions. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Camera 1. Tell Steve to square up. Camera 2. Four minutes. Camera 1. Tell her to give us those. Camera 2. Three minutes. Camera 1. Camera 2. Tell him to slow down. Two minutes. Eyes. Camera 1. 1 minute. Camera 2. Tell camera 1 down. There you go. Eyes from Stevie. 30 seconds. Camera 3. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. 2 seconds under.
Stand by, 15 seconds to air, quiet on the step.
Coming up on SkillsUSA News,
Experts are concerned about a drop in testing.
the CDC released new guidelines.
Some businesses are keeping the mask mandate. Other businesses have different rules in mind.
With SkillsUSA News, I'm Alexis Cresswell.
And I'm Stevie Shuffler.
With world and national news, test rates have dipped by a quarter since mid-January, and health officials are beginning to be concerned about a decline in testing. Even though the vaccinations are still underway, the Center for Disease Control says the tests are a critical piece in controlling the pandemic. The agency points out case numbers are constant and coronavirus variants continue to spread. The CDC reports a little over 500,000 could die from the virus by March 27th.
Meanwhile, new guidelines for people who have been fully vaccinated were put out by the Centers for Disease Control. A CDC official says the agency will release the new guidelines once they are finalized later on this week. Seemingly, the new guidelines recommend those who have been fully vaccinated limit their social interactions to small, at-home gatherings. And on top of this, they also suggest that people keep wearing masks and social distancing even if they had the vaccine.
Talking about the mask mandate, masks will remain a must at many big businesses in Texas and Mississippi. Despite the mask mandate being lifted in some states, many retailers and pharmacies will continue to require masks for both customers and employees. The stores that will follow this mask mandate include Target, Kroger, Walgreens, CVS, Best Buy, and Macy's. However, some grocery stores only require masks to be worn by their employees and just recommended to their customers.
Two highly debated projects will be pulled from the $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill that passed in the House. One of those being the relief package that will no longer include the $140 million extension of the Bay Area Rapid Transit line from San Jose to Santa Clara, California. The package will also no longer have the $1.5 million for the Seaway International Bridge from upstate New York to Canada. The Senate has not yet voted on the relief bill.
And now the forecast for the Jonesboro area calls for clear skies tonight and the low of 37 with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow we can expect sunny skies with a high of 67 and northeasterly winds at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night the low will drop down to 45. Friday will be cloudy, but the rest of the weekend will be beautiful and sunny. With highs reaching the 50s and lows in the 30s, you can expect a rain front to move in the middle of next week.
Back to news, Jonesboro State University faculty, staff, and students were arrested yesterday afternoon. Just in case, Caramel, Willie Makeit, and Perry Winkle all have been charged with being suspects in a counterfeit ring. The J-State students, Some Young Guy, Temptation, and Alphabet were also arrested on the same grounds. The FBI made the arrests after an extensive 10-month-long investigation into the counterfeit ring. So far, no word is out about what will happen to the teachers' classes for the rest of the semester.
Now with sports, NFL star J.J. Watt is getting ready to leave the Houston Texans for the Arizona Cardinals next season. His 10-year professional career includes 3 Defense Player of the Year honors, and he's a 5-time Super Bowl pick. He just signed a 2-year deal with the Cardinals. The terms of this agreement was not released. Watt is the only pro football player in league history to collect multiple seasons of at least 20 quarterback sacks, which he did in 2012 and 2014. I'm excited to see how he plays in this upcoming season.
Now with something a little more heartwarming. Anita Job, Pearlie White, and Billy Goat are patients at Get Well and Prosper Hospital in Jonesboro. Job, White, and Goat are all siblings with a genetic kidney disorder that causes kidney failure. All 3 of the siblings grew up in Jonesboro. 3 other siblings, Barbie Doll, Cinderella, and Lee Bruce, all donated their kidneys to the other 3. Now stick with me now, the story starts getting a little confusing over here. Doll gave her kidney to White, Rella donated her kidney to Job, and Bruce gave one of his kidneys to Goat. All 6 siblings are doing well, although Rella did have a few complications, but is expected to make a full recovery. Isn't that just wonderful?
It's so great to hear these amazing times during these trying times.
Especially, because I would hope someone would give me a kidney if I ever needed one.
Obviously, if you only needed one.
With SkillsUSA News, I'm Stevie Scheffler.
And I'm Alexis Cresswell.